Independence Day, on the 4th of July. And pray that no more soldiers would ever die. You know the 7 red and 6 white stripes, 50 stars in blue. Land of the free, the home of the brave, all of me and you. Seven red and 6 white stripes, 50 stars in blue. Land of the free, the home of the brave, all of me and you. America, home to me and you. Seven red, 6 white stripes, 50 stars in blue. Land of the free, the home of the brave, home to me and you.
Back on Tree Country 1330 WTRE, that was Pop's Flag by the Renegades. We have a special guest in studio right now, Kathy.
All right, Tom, we have Brian Noble joining us this morning. And Brian, we are thrilled to have you with us.
Well, thank you for having me. I love coming to Greensburg, Indiana. It's been a while since I played out this way, but love coming. And I got here early and went and seen the big tree inside the tower, took my picture and sent it out to our Facebook fans, and grabbed a cup of coffee, and here we are.
Well, we're happy to have you. You'll be entertaining us next weekend at the Tree City Fall Festival.
We will. We're looking forward to it. We go on at 6 p.m. Of course, we're going to be in town early that day, full of sound checks and everything. We'll be rolling the bus probably about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and looking forward to it. And then I believe behind us is the Mellencamp Tribute Show, so that's going to be fun. And we love Mellencamp music. We grew up on it, I come from Indiana, so I get a lot of it. So
pretty cool. We want to tell everybody the music that we just played prior to coming on is a song that you actually written.
Yep.
And you guys performed it. Tell us a little bit about the song, because we're chatting about it, and it's pretty popular.
Yeah, Pop's Flag was wrote and recorded, and we recorded our album in 2020. And, of course, that was the worst year in the world to record an album. We had copies made and was getting ready to go out on the road and tour and sell all these things, and got a lot of traction, and then COVID hit. But Pop's Flag was written from my father, who was a great American patriot, Legion member, military member, and he was a big patriot in the world, and he passed away in 2020 due to cancer that he'd been fighting for 15 years. And and I was honored to write that song. And he got to hear it before he passed, and it's just a song about the United States. Being in a as crazy as it sounds, today's 9/12, and yesterday was 9/11, and it was a sorrow day for a lot of people, and firemen and police officers, and and it just kind of sticks to home. It talks about being free and living in the United States of America, and believe it or not, as crazy as things that happen, we still live in a great country, and that's what it was geared towards.
Very much so, yeah. It's a great song. I want to talk a little bit now. You say, and I'm going to bring this up, fireman, and you were a fireman. Yep,
I worked on the Summit Fire Department. It kind of grew up in our family that way. Mom and Dad were both on fire department and EMS, and I grew up in Sunman, and when I lived next to the bed, had my shoes and my little clothes ready to go when they got the calls late at night, and our phones would ring, and that's before they had pager systems, so the phone would ring into the house, and off we would go to the life squad. And when it's birthed into you, basically, I was like, that's what you knew you were going to do. And so I worked on the life squad and fire department and for many years, and then decided I was going to give my rest of my career to police, and worked for the Summit Police Department, and just really enjoyed giving back to the community. And we still give back to the community. I host a big event every year called Big and Bash. It's held in Friendship, Indiana, and in the last few years, we've been able to give away about $50,000 to veterans associations, local volunteer fire departments, cancer research. My wife had breast cancer, and that kind of set it home with us, and we've been able to do stuff with that. But every year we throw a big party and a concert down there, and all the proceeds go directly back to the veterans, and we love it, being able to help people. And
that's awesome.
Kind of, it's bred into you. You just never stop. So
yeah. No, that's cool. Well, all right. Well, Brian has been on the road a lot this summer. The Renegades, and there's 6 in the band, right?
Yep, 6 of us in the band. Been busy, going everywhere. We're lucky. We just did in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. We did their Music on the River here just not too long ago. We had over 5,000 people for that show. Wow. On a Thursday night, and then we followed back up, and I was the MC for the show with the Kentucky Headhunters, which are a great friend of ours, and
they're cool guys.
Oh, they're the best. But we've been blessed, we've been traveling since probably about 2019. The band really struck it, and we got going big, and we've been doing it since '94. But in the last, from 2018, 19, we started doing shows with national acts like Marshall Tucker and 38 Special, and we've been on the road with Montgomery Gentry, Restless Heart, Little Texas, Shenandoah. So we've got to do a lot of really neat shows, and we were fortunate enough to be on the last 2 shows that Delbert McClinton did before he retired. Mm-hmm. And we made our way down into Kentucky a lot, down to Renfro Valley Entertainment Center, and we did a lot of shows down there, and we've just been blessed really to be able to do what we've done. This started off as a small little thing in Sunman, Indiana, that we was going to play for the fire department festival and some church events, and voila, here we are 31 years later, and we're still doing it and playing with national acts. And it's just been a great run, and I think a lot of it comes to that we've always been personable with our fans. We've played for generations of fans. We played one lady's wedding reception, then we played their daughter's first communion. I have actually played a first communion party.
I love it.
And then, it just kept growing, and you play for generations of people, and they're still following us, so that's a good sign. So
that's awesome.
Still holding on to it,
Yeah. So, as a kid, in school and all, music in the household, or
a lot of music in home. No one played an instrument. My brother beat the drums like wildfire. I first started playing. I played trumpet in high school. Worked underneath of Charlie Green at East Central High School, and then Kinsey Bennell, who's a real dear friend of mine still to this day. And our principal, Jim Helms, was a musician. I think we learned it from our elders. They were teaching us, and I'm like, this is really neat. And we just kind of followed in their footsteps.
So tell me about kind of music you love, the things that you listen to. And
I love old country music. Speaking of that, today in 2003 was when we lost Johnny Cash.
Oh, okay.
So, I still got a lot of music trivia stuff in my head, but I like, our band does a lot of Southern rock and outlaw country. But you never know what you're going to hear us do. We've been blessed to go through every phase of music throughout the years. And we've done some of our original stuff, but we've also carried and done a lot of other music. So we were with Marshall Tucker, and we walked off the stage, and Doug Gray, the lead singer, come up to me, and he said, "Biggin, why ain't you doing more of your music?" And I said, because we've been keeping your music alive for 30 years. And he started crying. I was like, so I knew that we were doing something right.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
But we, you know, I do Ronnie Millsap. I do, you know, Merle Haggard, Waylon Jennings, anywhere down the road to the Outlaws, Marshall Tucker, Leonard Skinner. You know, we've kind of always fell into that era. And but there's nothing that we won't try.
Oh, that's even better.
You know,
yeah.
so people request things, and the next thing you know, they hear it at a show, and they're like, "Hey, they listen to us." But that's how you keep fans.
That is, yeah. You mix it up, and you shoot, and like you said, generationally, because there's definitely a difference in every generation and what they love. But when you can mix it up and offer it out there to everybody,
it's funny how they change. The generation changes. I mean, we used to play and we were doing Matchbox 20 and Sister Hazel music for a long time in a phase, and then they would be like, "Hey," and it was the same fans, but they're older. They'd be like, "Hey, do you know any Waylon Jennings?"
yeah.
Like, it always goes back to the old outlaw country.
My grandson's 9, and the other day he said, "I gotta say, I think Johnny Cash is still my favorite." I thought, man, this is
What a great feeling to hear a 9-year-old say that.
Yeah, just loves that stuff. So
yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
you know, I went down to Nashville in the early '90s, and you know, I hate to say it, but back then there was a little bit prejudiced to people down there. If you didn't look just right and have the proper image, I was a big guy. I'm still a big guy, but I was 450 pounds back then, and I went to Nashville, and they loved it, and they said, "Man, you sound amazing, but you got to lose like 300 pounds before we even talk to you." And I was like, well, you know, I don't think you're my thing. And but now I've played with everybody that's from Nashville, and I still get to. I've played shows and hung out with some of the new artists that are out here, and I go down for songwriter shows, and I'm always invited to those. And it's kind of funny that the guy that didn't sign a record label in Nashville, but I still get invited. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
yeah. Nashville's changed a lot.
It's a big, different world. Music and radio is 150% different than what it used to be.
Absolutely, yeah. Completely turned the corner.
Yeah, it's definitely way different, but we've done great and we love it. So.
Talk about songwriting, because you and I talked a little bit before we went on the air, but there's a talent to doing that, but you've got some great stuff. Tell us a little bit about what kind of sparks your songs.
Well, you got to kind of get in the zone and you got to follow your heart. You know, I think when you're writing songs, and a lot of songs that I write, really, it's a make-believe world. You know, I have never been through I have a beautiful, lovely wife for 18 years, and you know, I waited till like 37 to get married, and but me and her been together, and I write songs, a tear-jerking cheating song, and you know, and people's like, "Man, you must have went through a rough time." I'm like, "Really, I didn't." But I see other people, you know, and I see different things like that, and just getting ready to record. I didn't write it. A friend of mine, I was down in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, and a guy by the name of T-Bone Montgomery, who Peanut Montgomery is his uncle, and he was a great songwriter for George Jones, and he's actually one of the original Muscle Shoals players back in the day, you know. And if you research that family, and him and I have become acquaintances, and we play at the Floribama down in Perdido Key and right on the Alabama line right there, and great songwriter, and he writes from the heart. And some songs you hear of his, you're like, where did you get that? And he said, I heard it from a friend that heard it from a friend, and then I wrote the song and told the story. And I think that's what about it is. I mean, a song is just a story. And the weird thing is it can be taken a million different ways. I could write a song, and a perfect example of this is we're just recording a song right now called Southbound Train. And T-Bone wrote it, and he recorded it, and he really wasn't sure if he was going to release it, and he sent it to me and said, check this song out, and he just sent me the lyrics, and then I recorded it, and we have two totally different versions, and two totally different feels, but it's just the way I interpret it versus what he did. So really, it's all about interpretation of a story, and then how you deliver it, and that's music. You know, it's hard to write something that don't sound like somebody else's wrote in this world, because I think every song has been wrote
2 or 3 times.
You're right. So it's like, if you come up with something different, Pop's Flag's way different.
Yes.
I mean, and it's a dramatic song, and people, there's nothing better than people say, well, you know, do you think you ever have really made it in this business? And I said, I made it years ago, because I could sing a song and look out and see somebody cry. That means I touched them, you know. So to me, that was worth more than $1 million mansion in Nashville, Tennessee.
When you
So-
see the when you see the emotions that,
Yeah.
yeah, it's.
If you guys
gone
ever go
straight
back
to
and look
them.
at our clip from Lawrenceburg, Indiana, I shared it on my Facebook page, and at the end of Pop's Flag, where I always ask everybody if they can to stand and face the American flag and uncover and take your hat off and just take it in and feel what it's all about. And you could hear a pin drop. And there's a great video. Danny Jenkins, she captured it, and the sunset was beautiful, and not a soul was stirring, and you could have heard a pin drop with 5,000 people in front of you. So that's like, you know what? I'll take it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that's a little bit about me.
Stuff. I like it. So the Renegades will be in town next Saturday night
Looking forward to it.
on the 20th, and the whole band will be here. So tell us this. So is your 2026 schedule, is it pretty full so far? Or?
It's starting. I started booking last month for 2026, but it's a lot of things that we do over and over, repeat shows, and we're always taking on new shows, and we hope to be back here next year. We love doing festivals like this because you can gain new friends and new fans in every town, and there's nothing better than that. And this is close for us, and we try to do as many little festivals as we can. This is the first time I've ever done a festival in 31 years in Greensburg.
Really?
Now, I will tell you, I cut my teeth in some of these bars in this town back in the early days. But we're happy to be here. And how it happened is, one of the guys on the committee seen us perform, and
I imagine it was Mark.
it was Mark.
Uh-huh.
Mark seen us perform and said, "Can I get a card?" He's like, "I know you probably won't be available, but we would love to have you come to Greensburg." And it worked out, and now now that we know it, and hopefully they'll have us back, and they're going to love the show. I never in doubt in my mind, and I got a really good great musicians. A lot of my guys are conservatory music guys. Jimmy Bays Vendetti is our saxophone player, and Randy Peak is our guitar player, and he played with the legendary band Blackfoot. Art Cadell, recording engineer, guitar player. His son's a conservatory music player. Was our piano player for a long time. I don't go through very many musicians in our group, and he was our piano player because our drummer Steve Ludwig was our drummer from Sunman, Indiana, and he played with us for many, many years, and he decided to take another run, and he was wanting to do an 80s, Big Hair 80s band kind of feel, and I'm like, well, I'll never be able to sing Big Hair 80s music. So if you can take the run and do it, then go. And we we're proud that he went, and he's doing a great job out there on the road and playing some real cool shows. But Russ Griffith was the guy who started the show with me, and we started it in a little barn in Sunman, Indiana. And when we started our band, we were called Joe Stanley and the Renegades.
Joe Stanley and the Renegades.
And there was never a Joe Stanley.
I was going to ask, so where's Joe?
So Joe got to be the singer. Joe got to be the bass player.
Joe did it all.
Joe did it every time we performed. That like today, you would have been Joe Stanley.
I would have been Joe.
And people got the biggest kick out of it.
Yeah.
How it started, we played in an old barn out in Sunman, Indiana, and on the side of the barn said the Joe Stanley Farm. And there wasn't even a Joe Stanley that lived there. And it come back from I don't know if you guys are familiar with Carl Bruns was the fire chief in Sunman, Indiana for many years, dedicated his whole life to the fire service in this area, and he had a barn and it was a rental property that our bass player lived in. And he called a friend of his, and his name was Paul Rosemeyer from over a mile in Indiana, and said, "Paul, will you come over and paint that barn?" He said, "It just looks horrible." And he said, "What do you want me to paint on it?" And he said, "Just paint it. I don't care what you want to paint on it." And as a joke, he wrote the Joe Stanley Farm. It looked really neat. And he painted it all up real nice as a joke, and it stayed that way for many years. And so that's where we named it from. And everybody's like, where did Joe Stanley come from? Well, that is the real story.
The history of Joe Stanley.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's funny.
Love it.
We had shirts made, Joe, and everybody had a pocket shirt that said Joe on it. Well, I think we got to bring those back out, maybe for the 35th year reunion shirt. So.
I think that'd be cool. So where is Joe? We could have a whole
Where
fun
is Joe?
evening with that. Where is Joe?
We could go try to find him
Yeah,
again.
I like it. I like it. Brian, it's been fun having you in
Well,
here.
thank you
We
so much.
appreciate it. And again, they can find your music. Give us all the details.
They can find a lot about us. My solo shows, which also has links to the band, is thebiggin.show.com. That's BIGGIN show.com. That gives us a little bit about me, what I got going on solo-wise, and then the band is therenegadesband.net. And that thing's getting updated all the time. But there's a lot of cool things to see on there.
So tell me when you do your solo show.
Okay.
Is it acoustic or?
It is. It's right now I'm doing a series, and I just started it. And it's going across. I'm going to go take it across the United States wherever I can take it, and some local shows. And it's called Stories from the Road. And my first one is I'm going to do a little tavern in Sunman, Indiana, on September 23rd on a Tuesday at 2 p.m. It's for retired folks.
I love it.
I did one not too long ago at Whipple's in Sunman, and place was packed. And I looked at the demographics of the area and said, hey, I want to. A lot of people that followed me for years are retired. Mm-hmm. So, and they don't want to come out on the weekends.
They want to drive in the dark.
So I did it, and it was a huge success. So I got another one of those coming up on the 23rd. And then October 9th, the Liberty Theater in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, will be another one, and that's going to be a big one. They're both those are free shows. Mm-hmm. But come out. We love to see folks come out to those too, and all the stories come out in that show. You know.
I love the small venues like that. They, just where we just connect. You're just gonna share with us, and I just love that kind of stuff.
It's a up close and personal, intimate experience. I always say, and it's either you'll love me or you'll hate me after you leave there.
I can. We may be friends forever, right?
That's right.
Because I can go to an arena show and love it. But then I can go to a place that's got 50 seats, and that's my place. You know,
And the older I get, the more I feel the same way.
Mm-hmm.
I just do the rundown in the Floribama area, and that's a 250 people seat every day, 2 to 6, and they're there because they love music.
Yeah.
When you start to play a song, they clap, not when you finish. Mm-hmm. Says a lot.
It does.
And humbling experience, because it's no one you know. And that's where you know that, I guess I'm doing something right.
They really do like you.
Yeah, they do like me. I'm not just a pretty face.
That's right. They like that music.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys, you've been everywhere.
We have.
And then keep on going.
And we'll just keep coming back home every now and then to have some fun.
There you go. Now, does your wife travel with you? Or?
She does. Her and my big old golden doodle dog named Bentley. He goes to all my shows.
That's good.
I usually bring him today, but my wife was working from home today, so he got to stay home.
He got to hang out at home.
Yeah, I've had pictures of him in Eagle Country and WRBI, and he's been in every radio station.
You'll have to bring him by to visit.
I will sometime. You guys would love him. He's a bigger ham than me. So
we love our pets. So
well, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. I've never been to your radio station. I've driven by it.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. Glad you could come in. Like I said, you have the technical difficulties today, and we did that, but today's been better. So
well, good. Hopefully, it's a better week, and get ready for this big event. It looks like it's brewing to be a big one.
Well, Tom and I were talking a little while ago. They've got 160 vendors.
That's a lot of vendors.
That's a lot of vendors. That's a lot of good food and fun stuff to buy, and a few Christmas gifts along the way.
I don't mind ever getting in town early.
Yeah.
We'll pull in the bus and get behind the stage and get parked, and we'll usually do our sound check in the afternoon, but that gives us a lot of time to get out and just meander around.
You find the best stuff at things like that.
And some things you don't even need.
Right. My daughter gives me the speech, do you need it or do you just want it?
I know.
Some days I just want it.
Well, I was out there doing business out in the car, and as funny as it sounds, I was out there and I bought something online because I'm a marketplace shopper. There was a Boys from Indiana. You remember the Boys from Indiana? Bluegrass started here in this area. A lady had one of the red original tour jackets.
Oh my!
For sale.
Yeah.
And it was like it was meant to be because guess where it's located? Friendship, Indiana. And where am I playing tonight?
Headed.
Friendship, Indiana. I'm like, I'll take that. I bought it. And my buddy was watching it online too because it was an item on, and he said, "Oh man, somebody bought that Boys from Indiana jacket." And I said, "I know who got it."
Oh man.
So, honey, if you're listening at home, I got you a new jacket. I'll be there in about an hour.
There you go. All right. Well, Brian, thank you so much for joining us. And again, it'll be on the 20th, Saturday, Fall Festival, 6 o'clock.
Yes, ma'am.
And we can't wait.
All right, looking forward to it. You guys come by and say hi, and I'll try to find your booth. And if you're doing any live things or anything that afternoon, I'll stop by and visit with everybody.
We'll be right there.
Look forward to seeing you guys.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you much.